That's good. I'll include the recipe at the end of the video. Hello everyone, this is Charlie Wollards with Wollards Photography, and welcome back to another photography related video. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that are going to help you take better product photography with the most popular camera out there. The camera on your phone. Social media is a great place to display products and services. But to sell yourself, you're going to need good pictures. Large companies have bigger budgets and they can hire photographers to make their products look better. I worked with a large resort in Idaho, and these are some of the pictures I did up there. For these pictures and videos, I use multiple lights, reflectors, light diffusers, full frame cameras, different lenses. It's a lot of equipment and it's very expensive. If you're just starting out, chances are you don't have the budget for a photographer or for new gear. So I'm gonna help you out and give you some tips that use nothing more than your phone camera and some props that you can find at home that are gonna help you get better images and better results to promote your page, your product, yourself. So let's get started. For this video, I'm gonna use my iPhone 11 Pro to take the pictures, and I'm gonna compare those images to the ones out of my Canon EOS R5. I wanna see if you can spot the difference. A few months ago, I made a video about the basics of product photography. And in this video, I ask a few questions that will help you understand your product better, and it'll help you sell it a little bit better. So go back and watch the video if you haven't. What do you need for better product photography? And it's the same for any photography. The main thing is light. Good light is going to immediately improve the quality of your images. But it's not only light, it's understanding exposure and how your camera works. If you're shooting something in a white background, which I have these PVC rolls, or I also have just a paper roll. But if you're shooting on a white background, you can see it on this camera here. It darkens. It changes the exposure. The camera is looking for, I think it's about 15% gray. So it's gonna darken the exposure because the paper is too bright. So you're gonna need to compensate by overexposing a stop or two. And it's the same thing if you're shooting on a dark background. So if I open the roll, it's gonna immediately overexpose. If I take it away, it's gonna bring it down, and it's the same concept. It's looking to brighten the dark spots to make it a even exposure. So if you're shooting a product on a dark background, you're gonna have to underexpose to get your product to be isolated on the background. Diffusing the light is very important to avoid those high contrast shadows. And for that, I have a diffuser. It gets rid of the shadow, you can adjust it, and it works great. But if you're using your cell phone to take pictures, I don't think you're gonna have a diffuser in your closet. So something that works great is tissue paper. 9 out of 10 times, a little bit of tissue paper blocking the light is gonna be enough to reduce the shadows and help you get a more evenly lit picture. If you're looking for a little bit more contrast, for this picture I used a flashlight. So it's a single light source, and it just gave the image a little bit more contrast, more punch. So besides light, tip number 2, backgrounds. So we already went with black or white backgrounds, which will give you a clean looking image, but also look for something around your house that's gonna make your product stand out. Look for something simple and clean. You don't want something that's gonna compete for the attention of your product. But right here, this countertop works out great also. And the wood in the background is also a very good way to isolate and make your product stand out. If the background is too distracting, zoom in or zoom in some more, and then remember, you can always crop. That way the attention is gonna be on your product. Tip number 3, composition. And this one's very important because this talks about where you're gonna place your product. Do you place it to the side so you can add a logo or add writing? Or do you put it right in the middle because you want the attention to be right in your subject? Composition also helps you find a perspective that's going to make your subject pop. It's going to enhance the flavors of your product. Remember to showcase your product as a finished product. If it's in a box, take it out. If it's wrapped, unwrap it. Show it the way it's going to be used. The final product. Tip number 5. Remember to keep your work area clean. Every time you change an angle, every time you change the prop, wipe your table. This is going to save you a lot of time in post-processing. Keeping the area clean is going to remove any stray hairs or any, in this case, sweat from the glass. So make sure you keep your area clean, and this is going to save you a lot of time later. Okay, so why did I choose an old-fashioned for this photo shoot? Simple. It's one of my favorite cocktails. In a previous life, I was a bartender. A pretty good one at that, but right now it's been raining on and off pretty much all week, so I haven't been able to fly the drone. And to make this video, there was no drones involved, so it made sense. And you get to enjoy the props when you're done with the shoot. Cheers. So back to the phone. This phone, the iPhone 11 Pro, and I know many other ones have too, they have a portrait function. And this uses computational photography. This is some kind of magic that happens inside the phone to simulate using a long lens with a wide aperture. It blurs the background. It's pretty crazy how it happens. So let me show you some examples here from the phone and from the camera and see if you can spot the difference. Let me know in the comments if you're able to spot the difference. It's kind of crazy how good technology has advanced on cell phones. They're not going to replace the camera. Some of the examples it's obvious, but for a cell phone, something that everybody has in their pocket, it's a great tool. If you learn how to use it, you could get amazing results. Now let's go back to that recipe, and I'll show you how to make this old-fashioned step by step. To make a classic old-fashioned, you're going to need a few ingredients. You're going to need your favorite whiskey, a splash of club soda, bitters, a sugar cube, cherry, an orange, and for a little bit of extra sweetness, a splash of cherry juice. So you're going to take the sugar cube and you're going to soak it and saturate it with bitters. Just add a splash of club soda. Use your muddling stick to break down the sugar and dissolve it into the club soda with the bitters. For a modern old-fashioned, you could add a cherry and a slice of orange and muddle that together, but I prefer the classic version. Next is adding your whiskey. So 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces. Then add a couple of ice cubes and stir it. You could also add a splash of cherry juice for a little bit of sweetness. Once it's chilled, grab your large ice cube and put it in your old-fashioned glass. And with the strainer, you can pour your cocktail into your serving glass. You can garnish with the cherry and an orange twist. You can also torch your orange twist with a lighter. This will bring out some of the oils and enhance the aroma. Next, you're going to rub the orange twist on the rim of the glass. And to finish, just garnish your drink with that orange twist. Enjoy! And that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe and click on that like button. Now it's time to lay back and enjoy your cocktail. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.